Well, incoming border czar Tom Homan tells us that he has been the target of death threats since taking on accepting the new role under President-elect Trump. He joins us now. Tom, a couple of things. Not had the chance to congratulate you on your appointment, your nomination. So my heartfelt congratulations to you. Second of all, I'm so sorry to hear that you and your family are going through this. What's your preliminary response to hearing that it's not unique to you? Other senior incoming officials are also facing threats today.
Well, first of all, I appreciate what Nicole just said, but I'll be honest with you. I have not taken this serious up to this point. Now that I know what's happened in the last 24 hours, I will take it a little more serious. But look, I've been dealing with this. When I was the ICE director in the first administration, I had numerous death threats. I had a security detail with me all the time. Even after I retired, the death threats continued. And even after I retired as the ICE director, I had U.S. Marshals protection for a long time to protect me and my family. And what doesn't help is all the negative press around the president and people he's putting in his cabinet. Me, I'm not in the cabinet, but, I've read numerous hit pieces on me. I'm a racist and, I'm a father of family separation, all this other stuff. So the hate media doesn't help at all because there are some nuts out there that will take advantage. So that doesn't help. And I thought we're beyond that after the election's over, that we're going to get beyond that. But, I will now start taking it a little more serious after I just heard what's happened last 24 hours up to that point. I was the attitude that if I'm not home, my family's not home, and they're not home right now, but when I return home, I'm going to bring them home. But I was up the attitude lately that if you want some, come get some, because, I've been to this many, many times, and but again, what I've learned today, I'll start taking a little more serious.
Do you think that there's a role you can play once you're in position? And come January 20th, do you think there's a role that you can play with your leadership and seniority in the second term of President Trump's administration that can help to sort of bring an end to these kinds of threats that we've been seeing now, as you mentioned, against Republican officials and Democratic officials?
Well, I think the first role is not to be intimidated. I'm not going to be intimidated by these people. They're not going to silence me. Look, I'm going to do this job. I'm going to do this job because it's an issue of national security. So you're not going to shut me up. I'm not going away. And I'm going to do this job. And I'm going to continue talking to the American people why it needs to be done. I think under the Trump administration, I think we're going to be very transparent because the big issue, right, securing the border and doing this deportation operation, we're going to be very transparent. We're going to tell the American people exactly what we're doing, how we're doing it. So we're going to control the narrative, and we're going to educate the American people why this is necessary. You can't. On the heels of a historic illegal immigration crisis, where 9 out of 10 of these people enter the country illegally, will end up with an order removal because they simply don't qualify for asylum. There has to be a big deportation operation. That's the laws of this country. And if we go through this whole process of 9 out of 10 get an order removal from a judge, and we don't remove them, you're never going to fix the border because we'll send a message to the whole world you can enter the state illegally. It's a crime. You can even go to court or not go to court and get an order removal from a federal judge, and you don't leave? And we're not going to make you leave. You're never going to solve the crisis on the border, and it's just not about illegal immigration. When you overwhelm the Border Patrol, like they've been overwhelmed for the last 4 years, that's when the fentanyl comes in to kill 250,000 Americans. That's why sex trafficking's up 600%. That's why we have a record number of people on terrorist watch lists crossing the border. That's why you've got 31% of women getting sexually assaulted making that journey. Children die on the border almost every night. So it's important that we be very transparent in what President Trump's going to do. We're going to secure the border. We're going to have a deportation operation. And we're going to work really hard to find those 300,000 children. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to tell that story.
Do you think it makes a difference, Tom, if, and this is not confirmed, the FBI is not sharing anything publicly right now about the source of these threats, who is making them? So we don't know if they were coming from domestic actors, foreign actors. But I talked with Trey earlier in the show about how Iran is being investigated and prosecuted now for threats against the incoming president's life. Will it make a difference, do you think, to how the U.S. government responds to these threats if they are coming from Americans or foreigners?
Absolutely. I think that's our duty. I think we need to do that. I haven't received this level of threats in the last a few days myself, so I'm shocked at what happened the last 24 hours. Again, I haven't received that level of threat, but I think the government, if they find out it's coming from a foreign nation, of course we've got to respond to them. This isn't acceptable for Republicans or Democrats. I mean, no one that serves their country should be under threat. I mean, this is the second time I come back from retirement because I'm a border guy. The border's out of control. This is the biggest national security threat in our nation's history. So I'm going to President ask me to serve. I'm going to serve with pride and dignity. So I think we need to have a strong response. Once they find out who's behind all this, absolutely. It's illegal to threaten someone's life, and we need to follow through with that.
Well, we wish you all the best and your family over the holidays. We hope that this gets put to rest pretty quickly. And thank you for taking time with us today, sir.
Thanks for having me. Of course.